all those years of, different late night shows, you're always one of my favorite people because you have this combination of amazing comedy brain, great physicality, and then energy, explosive energy. And you've got all three, and you would come on, and anytime you were going to be on the show, I got the night off. Jack's coming, and it's why you came in and you did the last show for me, because I was thinking, yeah, who else? This is the guy. This is the guy that needs to help put a bolt in the brain of this late night show I've been doing for 28 years.
And Zach Galifianakis wasn't available. Let's be honest.
No. He was hanging around. He was outside the stage door because we shot it at a theater. He was outside and he kept saying, we did a couple of those hangover movies. And I was like, Zach!
Sometimes people call me Jack Galifianakis because we're so. They say I stole his beard, which is kind of true.
Yeah.
But here's what I want to say to you: it was such an honor that you chose me to be on your final episode. I almost cried right now just thinking about it, and I think back and I think, God dang it, I should have said these other things that I didn't say on the final episode, and I'm glad I'm here to get a chance to do it. But the meaningfulness of when I first came on your show, you were the first talk show I came on to in the national spotlight, and I was so fucking nervous. And I asked you, is it okay if I do a little skit? Because that's kind of my thing. I don't go on and just talk about myself and you were like, yes, you were so game. And you let me come on there, and with Kyle, we did a little musical number about replacing Andy Richter, which was just a joke because I love Andy Richter.
You auditioned, Andy's a sidekick, and you auditioned to replace him, and it was so fantastic. It was so funny, and you did so many great bits. We did one bit. It comes up all the time. People talk to me about it, which is funny because there's a lot of stuff over the years, and then there's certain things that capture people's imagination. There was once you and I decided who's the greater guitar god. And so we start playing guitar opposite each other, and then we're standing in front of in the performance area and the curtain, and you're playing, and then I'm playing, and then you're playing, and I'm playing, and then my playing starts to get off the hook, amazing, and then you get suspicious. And you pull the curtain away, and Slash is there.
Yeah.
And he's making the guitar sounds for me, and it killed so hard. It was such an amazing surprise. But I remembered, I believe that was your idea you came in with. And I was just like, that's a fantastic idea. And all we have to do is get Slash. And then we did. Yeah. Turns out he was in the commissary.
I think
Warner Brothers eating.
Maybe Smiley had something to do with that idea. I don't know who gets credit. That's not important who gets the credit.
Right. It was Tavis Smiley.
It was such a good idea that here we are 10 years later, there's still people doing that same joke. They got that from us.
Yeah.
I just saw it a week ago where it's like, oh, you got Slash hiding behind the curtain. I wonder where you got that idea. But, anyways.
The important thing is, we create vibrations, we pick up on vibrations, and we pass them on, and we receive them. Yeah. And then we sue the shit out of people.
That's right. And that was the funniest thing when I was on the farewell show, and I actually injured my ankle. What it actually, with the comedy bit was, I was coming out to perform the farewell song.
Yep.
And then in the middle of me singing this farewell song, I get so energetic and dancing, I injure myself.
Yes. Injure yourself.
Fake injure myself. Yes. And then the medics come in. The paramedics carry me out. And then I say, no, he needs me. This is too important.
And you kick open the back of the ambulance and come running back into the theater.
Come running.
That's it.
As we were doing the pre-tape of me kicking open the doors and running back in the theater, I injured my ankle for real.
For real, yes. And of course, I come running out. You're on the ground. It's my final late night show. And sometimes I look to a camera that's not there and do a take. It's just, that classic, something goes crazily wrong and the person just shoots the camera and looks into it. Where's my camera right now? Right there. It just goes, really? And I looked at a camera that wasn't there. And as you're writhing in pain, I should have been looking after you. But I just thought, it's my last show. Jack Black's, we got this great idea, and now you're injured. And I thought, well, this isn't going to happen now. And it was a real injury.
Yeah, snap, crackle, pop. I heard it all.
And then you, like a hero, you got taped up, you got booted up.
I went to the actual like special ankle specialist who taped me up and put me in a cast and said, yeah, you're gonna be out of commission for a long time. You're not gonna be getting out of this cast for we don't know how long. It takes a long time for this kind of sprain. It wasn't a regular sprain. It was like where not the tendons, but the other things. I can't remember what the things are that were torn. And I said, yeah, but can I sing? And he's like, yeah, of course you can sing. I was like, okay, I'm going to go on Conan tomorrow then and do my bit. And it'll be very dramatic. I'll be a real hero.
Yeah.
When I come out there with my cast.
Was he like, Conan? Fuck, I love that guy. Fuck! I'm taking this cast off. Conan's the GOAT. Did he do that at all?
Something like that. I think it was like, oh yeah, Conan O'Brien. I know that. I know him. That'll be great.
Hey, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same thing.
But he did say no dancing and jumping around though. Let's just keep it,
But you came on, you did it, you killed it. It meant the world to me. And what I just realized today, someone reminded me, and I was like, oh my God. But I did a big 10th anniversary show. So we started in 93. This would have been 2003. We did a 10th anniversary show, and it was a huge deal. And all my heroes came out for it. It was great. We did it, I think, at the Beacon Theater. And you did a song about the story of Conan, telling my story from the beginning in 93. And it was operatic, the highs, the lows. And I'm sure it's out there and you can watch it somewhere. And it's worth looking at because it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Because, you'd go through the initial beginning and then the hard times, and then everything's really going great. But then Andy Richter left. And it was just, I was watching and I was like, why isn't this guy getting a Tony for this? Okay, we're not a Broadway show, but so many times you came and I'm not going to say hit a home run. It's like The Natural. You hit a home run, it hit the lights exploded, then it set off the Oppenheimer explosion. There's nothing I can do I can never thank you for all the nice things you've done for me.
Do you know what? That's a no-brainer though. How am I not going to come out for the 10th anniversary? But in my mind, before that 10th anniversary, I'm thinking, this is going to be a bomb. This is not going to go well. I will be bad. And I just surrender myself to that. And I go in with a fight or flight kind of adrenaline. And that's how it is every time. I go in going, oh, fuck, this is terrifying. And then I get out there and it goes, it's not always. Sometimes it goes great. And I feel like, I've got it. I'll never forget this feeling. And then, a week later, I have to go do another thing. I'm terrified again.
No,
it's the ups and downs of the...
This is something I talk about a lot because I want people to understand. And I get fooled because I do this about everything. And then, Sona, you've seen me for years go through it, and Blay, you've seen me go through it. It's just like, I get morose. I really try and prepare and think. I'm convinced this, then I panic. There's just a lot of misery involved. But then if you can catch the wave right, you have this great revelation, this nice moment, and then you're right back. It lasts, I can't believe it lasts for it's like those Viagra ads. If it lasts longer than 6 hours, you're in trouble. It just doesn't last. It goes. And I am fooled because I think, okay, I know that happens to me, but I would guess it would. I know I'm wrong, but I would have said wouldn't happen to Jack Black.
Absolutely happens to me.
I don't see you ever failing. I just don't see it.
In fact, I feel my most confident, weirdly, after a bad performance or something that I didn't have fun at, and I think in my mind, the next time I get up in front of a camera or on stage, I'm going to make up for that shitty one I just did. I don't know why that's always where I feel most comfortable, in like the defensive crouch right after a bad one, when it's like, okay, this is the redemption. So I have that up and down of performance, and that goes across the board. But I wanted to say what I forgot that I should have said on the farewell episode that you had me come and guest on, is that the very first time you had me on 20 years before, I had this amazing experience on national television with you, and your embrace of my adventurous spirit and your adventurous spirit was such a great way to kick off my journey. And then I looked over at other comedians and other performers and actors that had had the same experience. Like, that's the first time I saw Amy Poehler when she came on your show as like the little sister, Andy Richter's little sister with those braces on. I was like, who the fuck is that? This is some kind of a crazy performance from someone that's just getting shot out of a cannon. I'd never seen her before.
Yeah.
And I know that you've done that for tons of performers and comedians over the decades. And I just thought, what an amazing person you are to be at the threshold of the industry in a way for all these new, young alternative.
That's very sweet. I think I always think that we were very lucky in the timing. We were in the right place, and there was all this young talent coming up, and I get giddy around talented people. We just had so much fun. It was so much fun.